Good morning, ladies. Today is Sunday, November 15th, 2020, 70 weeks postpartum, 16 months and 1 week. Um, Quick toddler update. So Michaela is climbing like crazy. She has been climbing for the last few weeks and just like crazy though, like anything she wants to climb it. And I know it's a big thing for toddlers. So I'm looking into some things to try to get in my home that to help her climb, or not help her climb. I'm actually not encouraging climbing, but things that she can climb on safely. I'm looking into, and I'll do a separate video about that once I find what I'm going to get. Probably will end up being part of her Christmas present. And also, she loves to sing. She's just singing about, well, I mean, she's really, this is still in gibberish, by the way, but if you play any song, if a commercial comes on, it has music, if it's just some sort of instrumental, she is singing or humming along. Again, she occasionally, if it's a song she's heard before, she may get a few of the words, but it's usually mostly gibberish. But if it has like the word day in it, she might be like day, or you know, I don't know. She really leans in on the word she knows, but other than that, it's mainly gibberish. And so I think that's really all of the big updates right now. We are still breastfeeding, so 16 months we're still breastfeeding. So I mean, not like when she was a newborn or anything, but she has still nursed probably maybe 3 to 4 times a day right now. Um, and I think part of that's comfort, and by the way, is the majority of the milk that she gets, which is why I encourage it, because she still isn't a fan of other milk. But anyway, so last week I told you guys that I purchased the Joy On Keyhole, the box is open, keyhole trainer. And this is what the product looks like on the box. And so now that the box is open, last week I pretty much just unboxed it. But now that it's open, I want to really tell you what I think about this. And so I don't know. I'm not okay. Let me put it this way. So let me do pros and cons. And also, before I even start that, let me tell you, I am not a vibrator fan. I am not into vibrators. And I'm not knocking anyone who is. I'm just personally, I'm going to put this thing down while I talk. I'm just personally not into vibrators. Again, it's nothing wrong with them. I just personally don't like the way they feel. I'm not really into the vibrating feel. And again, there's nothing wrong with it. This is, I think, can act as a vibrator. So if you're interested in that, you might be interested in this. And one reason, I knew it was a vibrator before, I knew it vibrated before I got it. But even if you're not a fan of a vibrator, you can still use this, because it doesn't have to continuously vibrate. There is an option for it to continuously vibrate, and that's what I'm saying. If you're into vibrators, you might like that. But it doesn't have to continuously vibrate. Like, usually when it vibrates, it's vibrating to let you know, like for like 2 seconds, to let you know to either contract or release a contraction or something like that. It's a very quick vibration. It's not like something that will like be just buzzing the entire time. And as a pro, when it vibrates, it is quiet. So if that's something, if you're interested in vibrating, matter of fact, let me turn it on. Maybe you can hear it vibrating. You see the light on it. And this is a continuous vibration if you're interested in that. Now, mind you might hear it, but it's not inside. Once it's inside, you can't hear it that way. So now I just turned it on to where you would pair it. So when you first put it on, you have to pair it. And, it does this this blinking thing, and you this will let you know it's ready to pair with your Bluetooth. And you have to pair it. Sorry, I'm turning it off. It's not paired. You can only turn it off when it's not paired with your Bluetooth. You have to pair it with your Bluetooth. That's the only way for this to work. As far as not just the vibration, you saw the vibration, but as far as with the app, it has to be paired with your Bluetooth, which makes sense. You can use it without. Clearly, I didn't have it paired, and it was just vibrating and stuff. I honestly did not try to use it without pairing it to do the Kegels. But you might just be able to do that. I don't know. I actually don't think, you would just be doing it, but I don't think it'll vibrate to alert you because it's not paired with anything. But again, I'm not a vibrator fan. If you are, this might be something you're really interested in, because at the very least you can use it as a vibrator. But one thing to be careful of is too much vibration can actually make you less sensitive. So that is something which is interesting. Too much vibration can dull your sensitivity down there if you're like heavy into vibrators though. So that's just something to be aware of. So the pros and cons. So good things about this is it's made from a food grade silicone, which is good. And anyone that you get, whether it's this or anything like this, you should make sure is something safe, like food grade silicone or something, if there's whatever else is safe, because it will be going inside you. And so that is important. Especially because if it's not, you might get some sort of infection from whatever's in the plastic or silicone or whatever it's made out of. The other thing, so that's a pro. I like the color. I don't know if that matters, but the color is nice. So it's a nice hot pink, if you're into the colors. So there's that. I think another pro would be, what did I say? Food grade silicone, color, vibrate. I think, the size isn't horrible. It didn't, it's not super large or anything or uncomfortable. That's a pro, but I think for me, that's where the pros really end. The biggest thing for me, and I think the biggest thing for anyone who buys something like this, is that you want to know about the functionality. And I did not find that this really lived up to the hype of what it was supposed to do. The app isn't accurate. It doesn't accurately register when you're contracting and when you're not contracting. Excuse me. And that's a big deal, right? That's really important. Sometimes I would release a contraction. It was weird. It was just really weird. It just wouldn't, let me just put it this way. The app seemed to me very buggy. And when I say buggy, it wasn't reflecting the fact that I was doing a contraction or releasing. And sometimes it did though. So it was inconsistent. And that's with the games. Let me say this. That was with the games. And there's two games. There's like a strength game where you're like supposedly lifting. It's a little avatar thing is like lifting a barbell or whatever. That didn't work for me because it was never really lifting it. And then when I'd stop contracting, then it'd start lifting. And I'm like, well, wait, what? Like what is going on? It's very inconsistent. Then there's another game where you're like fishing and you have to, so the barbell game is like a strength test. So it's how you're supposed to contract as hard as you can. Then the fishing game, you're catching fish and little avatar throws the fishing rod in the water and then tries to reel up the fish and all that. That's a speed test. So I guess it's strength and speed. So you contract really fast, I guess, as hard as you can. And, but yeah, it was never really doing anything. And that was one of the things I read in the reviews online when I purchased it. I'm really into reading reviews. I read numerous reviews for almost anything I buy, unless it's something I've used a zillion times. And, that was one of the things that if you look at the reviews, a lot of people, especially on Amazon, a lot of people say that, the app just didn't make sense to them. And that's really true to me. I purchased it because there are reviews where people love it and they talk about how great it is. And I was thinking, oh, well, maybe I can be in that category. Maybe I'll be the it's amazing category. Everybody can't have a bad review, right? Well, unfortunately, I'm not. I'm in the category where I'm saying app just doesn't, it's a great concept. The execution is seriously lacking. The app just didn't live up to the hype. And I purchased it because I wanted that. If I thought that games were fun, maybe that would encourage me to do Kegels. Maybe I would remember to do the Kegels. And, that's why I purchased it. But it just wasn't for me. Let me not put it that way. It's not even about it being for me. It's about the fact that it didn't work. This isn't a personal preference. The vibration thing is a personal preference. But like I said, even though I'm not into vibrators, this doesn't, when you're doing the Kegels, it's not vibrating continuously. It will only vibrate if you have it to like let you know to release a contraction or something like that. And it doesn't always do that. So you can go without that. But that is the extent of vibration, and it's a short vibration. It's like a little pulse, So that shouldn't discourage you if you're interested in it. It was just that it did not work for me the way that it's supposed to work, and that's ultimately the problem. If it did, I would love it. I started off. I took the assessment. There's like a 3-minute assessment or whatever that you can take, and it'll start telling you, you start with like the strength test and then you start with the speed test. It's not the games. It's just, it tells you contract and then tells you to release for a few seconds and contract and release or something like that. You contract as hard as you can and hold it when you're doing the strength, and then on the speed it's like, it's fast contractions. But I don't know. Maybe that was accurate. It did register me contracting when I did the speed test, but maybe that was accurate. It's hard to tell because, like I said, when I did the games, it wasn't registering anything, so it's hard to tell. And it's also you could use it manually, where you could create your own, I guess, program and do what you want to do. If you're so high tech to want to do that, your body or whatever. And maybe if you use this or things like this consistently, you will know your body enough to do that. But I didn't. I tried all those features, and I tried the manual, the games, and the assessment. And I did the assessment. I tried this thing for a week, and I did the assessment, daily. And it will tell you whether you improved or didn't improve. But again, it's like, how consistent is it? Also, another thing that people were saying on the reviews is that the Bluetooth does disconnect. And that's something to be aware of. That happened to me a few times, so I think that definitely does affect your assessment. If you're in the middle of the assessment, the thing just disconnects from your phone. So it's really easy to connect. The first time I connected it connected right away. It paired with my phone right away. I never had a problem. I even think the battery holds up because I didn't have to charge it too much. So I didn't have personally a problem with battery life. But again, I wasn't using it on a continuous vibration. And I'm sure that we use the battery a lot faster. But at one point I was in the middle of the assessment and I wasn't noticing anything registering. And I'm like, wait, it was just registering, not registering, because you could watch it on your phone as you do it. And it had disconnected, and I didn't realize, and I didn't even get a notification on my phone, because sometimes it did notify me that it wasn't paired, but it didn't, and I actually had to remove it, and then I noticed it was like off or whatever it means. Not only did it disconnect, it turned itself off, and like I said, the battery was full, so it wasn't that. So I had to repair it and then restart the assessment. And then there were times when I was doing the games or attempting to do the games, and it would tell me that it was no longer paired. And so, but then it would pair itself back. Like sometimes it would say it's not paired, and then it would fix itself. I think it was only one time where I had to repair it, but usually it would connect itself. But the thing is, like, it wasn't moved further away. Like my phone was in my hand. So it was on how far I'm we getting from this thing. It says it's supposed to have, I think it was what, 15, 16 feet somewhere in the instructions. I was looking at the little manual. It's supposed to have, I don't know where it's at right now, but when I read this, it says something about the distance of what you can use the Bluetooth. I think it's like 15, 16 feet or something like that. It says it somewhere in here anyway. But, and that may be true. I mean, I never tried to get that far away from it because I had my phone in my hand, and you know, if this is inserted, you're not 15, 16 feet away. But that must matter to some people. I did read some reviews where people were talking about they wanted to use it with their partner and have their partner control it. I didn't understand. This is not that type of thing, guys. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe I'm just being small-minded with it, but it didn't seem like that type of thing to me because, I'm going to explain. This is the antenna. This whole long part from this neck up to this little bulb up here, this is the antenna with the Bluetooth. Okay. There's also, if you can see that little hole here, this is the charging port. That's where you put the charging in for the USB. All of this is sticking out of you. All of this. Okay. So I don't know how you're using it with a partner like out and he's one side and he's another. Unless you're just in the same room, I guess that works. But all of this is just sticking out of you. So it just seems weird. You know, I've heard of people like, you know, being out and their partner is controlling it on their phone and it's like, oh, it's cute and funny or whatever. But you can't do that with this because you're not even supposed to walk. You can't even sit. You're not even supposed to sit when you have this. And it's supposed to, like, that's another thing. It's very clinical to me. You have to, feather. You have to, like, lay on your back and your knees parted. Like, you know, it's very clinical. It's very, I don't know. You know, there's some Kegel trainers you can use where you're sitting down. You could be anywhere doing anything. This is not one of them. This is, you have to lay on your back. Maybe you can lay on your side, but you have to pretty much be in a laying position and using it. And this, like I said, all of this will be sticking out. All of this, the neck to the tip. So, you know, I mean, some of this, you know, most of it, let me put it that way, like neck to the tip. So, because you got to get this far enough in there, so whatever. So yeah, so it's not really something you're going to be like going about daily life with. And that's another thing. It's going to take up time because you can't go about daily life. You have to be like using this in a stationary position. So if you, and that's kind of when you're a mom and you got other things you're working or whatever else you're doing, you know, finding time. You could do it, you know, nap time maybe, or when children sleep or whatever your situation is, or maybe you just have lots of time, but it could be times finding the time to do it because you do have to be in this like this stationary position. And I think I could have gotten past all of that, but like I said, the biggest issue was it doesn't work the way it's supposed to. Like, how do you get past that? You can't get past that, right? I mean, you can't trust it. You just don't know if it's working or not. And yeah, it's, you know, if you do the assessments, it'll say, oh, your strength's improved since last time, or your strength's worsened since last time. And it's like, well, either way, how do you know? Like it just, to me, it just seemed inconsistent because sometimes it wouldn't register when I was contracting. Other times when I wasn't contracting, it would register. It was just like, I'm confused on how this thing even works and why it's so off. But other than that, you know, like I said, you're still doing the Kegels regardless of what the app says. So the fact that you're doing it is improving, like your ability. It's just that the app won't, I don't think, accurately track that for you, and maybe you can get past that. I definitely don't think it's worth $70. It's not even worth the $50 that I paid for it. And the last thing I'm going to talk about very quickly is cleaning it. Very simple to clean, very easy to clean. It's 100% waterproof. But I would say just be careful of the soaps that you use. And this is not for this product. This is general. Because, okay, so it says in the instructions to use antibacterial soap. or a neutral soap. I'm not sure what a neutral soap is, but antibacterial soap or a neutral soap. So the thing about that is I used a feminine soap like, Honey Pot, Summer's Eve, Vagisil. There's like tons of them. I used a feminine soap to clean it because using other soaps or any soaps, and even if you use a feminine soap, you just need to make sure you really, really rinse it very well, because soap isn't meant to be used internally on females. So if you're using just any other regular soaps, your Dove or whatever soap you use, for example, and you clean it with that, and you don't rinse it well, or there's residue, soap scum or something, and you insert it, not scum, but soap residue on it. Soap is not meant to be used internally on women, and so you can get an infection from using the soap, or not getting the soap off well enough. And so that's why I would recommend using a feminine soap. Not that they're necessarily supposed to be internal like that, but at the same time, they're gentle and they're made for that area of your body. So I would say that. So it was pretty easy to clean. No problems. And also, I did use it with a liquid-based lubricant, which is what they do recommend in the instructions. You may not use it. I just did it because I wanted to try to make this as successful as possible. And so I did use it with a liquid-based lubricant. They do give you a sample pack. I did not use their sample. Let me see. Sorry. Yeah, they give you a sample pack. I did not use the sample. But they do give you a sample of it. And so you can use that if you don't have any, and see if it works. I don't think it's 100% required, but it may make it more comfortable for you. I wanted to try to get the whole experience so I can review it properly. But quite frankly, guys, I didn't love it. I wish I did. Oh, and this is the USB. This is the little point that goes into this little hole here, and it goes all the way in, so you really have to insert it and push this whole thing in there. And like I said, there's a USB on the bottom. It also comes with the little satiny bag, and it comes with a box, and I think that's it. I don't think I'm leaving anything out. Like I said, I don't think that it was a great concept. Execution just didn't work out for me. Maybe it'll work for somebody else, but it's not supposed to be like that, right? It isn't based on my body. I don't think it's like if you're contracting, you're contracting. It's times I was contracting as hard as I can, and then I wasn't seeing anything, and then when I release, and it would say something. So I don't know if it was a delayed response or what it is. Even with the assessments too, although it'll tell you you're improving, it's hard to really understand where you are in comparison with like the average person. Let me put it that way. So you will know where you compare to you, but it's hard to tell where you compare to, just like, are your muscles weak compared to other muscles, or your muscles strong compared to other muscles. It's not really clear about that, but it will tell you how you are against you. So that is, something to be mindful of. And I really think that's it. So if you get it, I don't recommend it, but only because I don't think it works well. But if you get it and you like it, there are positive reviews about it. So maybe I was just one amongst the bad reviews, but I don't see how it works for some people and others. It does say it has some support and you can contact them if it's not working. I did not do that. They do provide contact information in case it's not working well for you. So that's probably the next step. So I can understand why the heck this thing is like all over the place and not really registering contractions the way I think it should. And maybe that'll give me more insight on it, but it's not. Yeah, I would say try something else. There or just do Kegels with nothing, which is completely free. You know, as long as you do them consistently, you can do it. I remember when I was pregnant, one of the pregnancy apps, I had like 7 I was tracking my pregnancy with, and one of them, at least one of them, maybe even more, had a Kegel thing that it would tell you like hold and release, and you know, it wasn't any device with it. It was just telling you to do a Kegel, and then let's do pulsing Kegels and stuff like that. It was just telling you to do it. Again, you know, it was just a reminder, and I think that was probably as good as this. It wasn't it wasn't testing my strength, but I'm not sure this is. So yeah. So, and I'm sure there's Kegel apps out there that probably do similar things, you know, even when you're not pregnant. I haven't looked into them, but I'm sure there are. Because there's an app for everything, right? There's an app for that. But anyway, all right, ladies. So that's my review. Sorry to say I didn't have better news, especially since, you know, I paid for it. But, you know, it is what it is. So I will talk to you soon. Stay safe.